Salamastarbe. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our regular session with Pamela. Pamela is going to talk about networking. Very interesting topic. So, Pamela, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, yeah. So we'll talk about networking. Okay. So networking specifically for educational professionals, people in education. So first off, let's talk about what is networking. What does that mean? So
Pamela, can you show your screen?
Oh, did it not?
Yes.
Did it not go? Okay, let me see. I clicked share screen. Oh, there we go. Okay, it didn't. Now is it showing?
Yes, it's on.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so yes, so we talked about networking for education professionals. So what are the components of being an effective networker for education? So what is networking? This is kind of a new term, 20th century or 21st century term. So it is the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. So basically what this means, if we're talking about in the professions, is having meaningful interactions with other people, meaningful conversations, and forming relationships that can help you with your job, with your prospects for like a promotion or getting a different job or being more effective at your job, getting an interesting, even if we call it making a lateral move, which means you don't make more money, but you're in a different position that might be better, it might be more enjoyable for you. So I'm sure we've all had those either opportunities or maybe even questioned ourselves of, well, if I would make the same amount but I was happier, would I move, or would I need to make more money in order to do a certain job? So keeping it open when you're talking to people about how they can help you with your job, or maybe just doing your job better, maybe just continuing education, professional development, all the stuff that you're doing with me, the fact that you're showing up every week and listening to these and watching them and interacting. This is if I tell you about something or somebody else, or if people are talking and they mention that there's another training, that's also networking. So it's just sharing information, and also it's mutually beneficial, which means that it helps you and it helps the other person. So hopefully that when you're talking to somebody else, that maybe they have something that they can offer you, and you have something that you can offer them. So who is networking for, and who can you network with? So this is basically kind of like a why. So who is networking for? Networking is for job seekers. So if you're looking for a job, if you are actively looking for a job, then you want to get to know as many people as possible, because they will be able to help you find a job. Employers, if you want to hire somebody, if you want to find somebody that is qualified and interested in this kind of position, even let's think about this kind of thing. You're looking for a tutor for your child who wants to learn English, or wants to test for, sit for an English competency test. You want to network so that you can find out who might be the best tutor for your child. You say, hey, can you let everybody you know at this school know that I'm looking for a tutor? And it doesn't have to be for English, maybe for science or something. Say, you have, during one of your meetings at work at a school, you tell everybody, my child is really having a problem with their science classes or their Russian class or whatever, and I'm looking for a tutor. If anybody is interested, or if anybody knows somebody who's interested in this, now you've told that whole room that you are looking for somebody who is interested in helping you with this. And now they will tell other people. That's networking. So net meaning like a big thing that's going to catch a lot of things, like for fish or something. This has worked well for me before. So I've just talked to people about what I was looking for, and I had no idea that I would be able to have some of these opportunities. So, for example, when I was just ready to graduate with my master's in history, and I was looking to start teaching in other countries and learning about the histories of those countries, and I knew the area I was interested in, I went to a party and I was just talking to a lot of people, and I said, yeah, I am interested in going to North Africa. And one person said, oh, my aunt works in North Africa and she works for this school. You should look up them and see if they're hiring. And I ended up working for that company. So I wouldn't have known to look for that specifically, or that they were hiring and that they hired Americans, if I hadn't just at that party told people what my plans were. Another time when I was in Saudi Arabia, I was a full-time teacher, but I was also looking to make a little extra money. And so I said, yeah, I'm available for tutoring. And I told all of my local friends who were also teachers, I said, I'm looking to tutor. And if anybody who is, looking for test preparation or university high level, that's where I'm best at, English help, if they're looking for, please give them my number. And one day I received a call from somebody saying, oh, I got your number from this person who probably got your number from this other person, and they said you were interested in this. So it really just pays off to whoever you are with, wherever, even if it's something casual or parties, it doesn't have to be just that you are applying directly to a job to find a job. Just tell everybody what you do, what you're interested in, what you want, and they might be able to give you some tips or even connect you with the kind of person that might help you. Looking for promotions. Yeah, if you are looking to be promoted in your own job, the next one, looking for continued skill development. Yeah, you always want to be looking for your to develop your skills, and you guys all know this because you're here, and looking to get new certificates and to get more information, more to be better at what you're already doing. And also, if you're looking, you enjoy your work, but you're thinking, oh, in a couple years, or maybe, anytime it's open, I would like to promote. Look for those kinds of connections too. And a lot of times people don't know that you would be interested in that. So let people know, like, I'm teaching right now, but I am interested in a promotion. I am interested in being a zavuch, or a scheduling, I don't know what, a director, whatever, or an administrator in a university, or something like that. Friends and acquaintances, family. So as I mentioned, this was a boyfriend of my friend that I was at the party with, that I mentioned, I'm interested in going to Tunisia or Algeria. And he said, oh, my aunt works in Tunisia, and so look up there. You never know who is going to have some kind of connection to something that you might be interested in. Family is good too, because the family can tell the other family. There, that can go on forever because people are related, and there's the in-laws, and then children, and then the husband of somebody, and that can go on for a really long time. So if you have somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, talk to people at conferences, seminars, and workshops. So this is a really great, I always, whenever I go to one of those things, a seminar, I'm very friendly. I introduce myself. I talk to people about what they do, what they're interested in. Colleagues, again, depending on what you're looking for, it might be worth it to talk to the teachers of other subjects, of what, just keep in mind what you are looking for and what they might be able to offer you. Staff at volunteer organizations. So I started volunteering at the library a couple years ago, and that's a really great way to start getting into full-time work. So if you want to work at a different kind of place than you're working at, if you have experience in teaching, you have skills in English language, you have experience in taking a lot of seminars and working with the AC, and you go and start volunteering somewhere else, and then they notice, oh, this person is a really great volunteer and they have all this experience. They're going to, if they have a new job that is opening up, they're going to go to you first before they go to the general public. So they will start thinking, who do we already know that is working for us, that is really reliable and is a great employee and is creative and knowledgeable, and they love their work and they're enthusiastic and they want to work with us. They're going to start looking at you first. So if you start volunteering and you get friendly with the staff, that's a really great way to start as well. So these are all the networking people that you can work with and why you might network. So so you always want to keep aware of new job opportunities, even when you're not actively looking for a job. So this is something that people say, like, whenever you're in a job, keep preparing to find your next job. So maybe that's a promotion, or maybe that's moving to a different organization or company or school or whoever you're working with. Always learn about different positions, because you might discover a job you never knew existed. So this happened to me too. I didn't know that there were certain jobs at schools, at universities, that would be really interesting for me to do, because I had only thought, well, if you're at a university, you're teaching. If you're at a high school, you're teaching, or you're the director, or Zavuch, and that's it. But there's a lot of there's different kinds of schools. There's private schools. There's different kinds of organizations that are educational, that maybe there's some kind of position that you didn't even know that you could work at that kind of job. So the more you talk about people in your field, about what they do, say, well, what is it that you really do? What do you do day to day? What's your title, and what does that mean? So your title is, academic administrator or director of this, whatever. But maybe what they describe to you is more interesting than what you understood the title to be. You can also collaborate with other professionals on projects or gain access to new materials and resources. So let's say you don't want to leave your job. You said, I love being a teacher. I love this school. I don't want a promotion. I don't want a different job. I want to stay here until I retire. This works for me. It's great. But we're networking and working with other people who are also in your field. You can learn new things to make your job that much more interesting and more effective every year. So the more that you are networking and talking with other people and sharing ideas, So this was something from the very beginning of when I started teaching, is that I had a group of teachers that were also my friends, and we lived in Tunisia in North Africa. And we were the only Americans that lived in the city. And so when we would go out together, like, we'd also talk about teaching. So even sometimes people would have to say, like, oh, let's not talk about teaching right now. Let's just like relax. But even during that time, like, we were sharing ideas, we were talking about our classes. We really enjoyed what we were doing, and we just had a lot of ideas that we wanted to share with each other that maybe we weren't, necessarily sharing in the teacher's room. But we got interested in, collaborating and sharing those ideas with each other. You can also network to understand what kinds of continuing education and professional development opportunities are available. So maybe there's a conference happening or a seminar that you didn't know was going on until somebody told you about it. Or maybe there's a certification option, or a test prep workshop that you would like to be part of and participate in. Or maybe there's an opportunity to present something on your own, and it's just a short commitment, but you still have to apply to it. So the more people you talk about that's going to share those kinds of things with you, the better it's going to be for you, that you'll be aware of all those things. So yeah, unless you are constantly looking those up on your own or part of an organization that's going to send you updates, then talking to other people and letting them know, like, yes, I'm very interested in continuing education, I'm very interested in going to conferences, then they'll start sharing those with you. Now it's even better, because so many things are online that before maybe you would have to travel along. Like, I know there's a big one in Dubai that happens every year. Now it's probably online too. There's a lot of things that are being shared that weren't before. If you didn't have the time and money to go to Dubai, maybe now you can just do it from your laptop. So let's talk about that. Yeah. So where can you network in person and online? So don't be afraid to talk to strangers. In person, anybody can be a possible networking. I just happened to be getting more chips and drinks at a table at a party when I talked to my friend's boyfriend, who happened to be tell me about the school that I ended up working in Tunisia, that started my teaching English abroad career. So in person, try to get over being shy. Just tell people what you're interested in, what you do, and what, so, yeah, I'm interested in learning more and building on my skills, or I'm actually interested in going into administration, or I'm interested in teaching at a private school rather than a public school. Any of those things. Just tell people and they will share what they can. Online, now a lot of things are online, and we're going to go a little bit more in depth in that right now. And just notice opportunities when you find them. They say, opportunities are where you find them. So don't think, oh, well, today I'm going to network and then tomorrow I'm not going to network. Like, it just kind of happens. It can be at a party, or you can be on purpose, that you are particularly, going out with the purpose to try to build your network and try to tell people that you're interested in certain things. So yeah, when I was in Saudi Arabia, I spent one day going to all the different offices of the teacher saying, hey, I'm really interested in doing some extra tutoring. I'd prefer to work with a college student, university student, somebody prepping for a test. Here's my number. If you find somebody that's interested in that, that was like networking, like intentional. I specifically was like, I'm networking. And then going to a party and just letting people know what your plans are, it's just as effective. It can be. But always keep that in your mind, that just let people know, think of people as like potentials to engage with, and that might help your your future plans. So how? Make sure you have a business card. I know this might not be as important in Kyrgyzstan. I know it's very important in certain countries, but having a business card with your information, or nowadays it's not as really important because people can put their contact information immediately into their phone. So that's kind of good that you can just tell somebody your number or your email address, and you can just like say, oh, just shoot me an email right now. Now I have your email address, and I'll remind you or whatever. Elevator pitch. So this is kind of a funny term. What this means. So a pitch in as a noun is, well, as a noun in some ways. There's another thing that means pitch, but in this context, a pitch is like you are trying to convince somebody to do something. So you are trying to sell something, and this you're trying to sell yourself as being a great employee, or as somebody who has a really great idea for what they want to contribute to the professional world. And the reason that we're talking about elevator, so I know a lot of you use British English, so that would be lift. The machine that goes from the ground to a bunch of different floors in a building. So the reason that's called the elevator pitch, it means that like if you were in an elevator with a CEO of a company that you really wanted to work with, how would you be able to pitch yourself? How would you be able to describe you, what you're looking for, and what you could give to a company in that time that it takes to get from one floor to the next floor? So how could you, within maybe 30 seconds, say, I am an educator, I've been working with these ages, I've accomplished this, and I'm looking to do this, and I know that because of my experience, I can offer a really great, I can be a really great administrator for this kind of a school, right? So have an example of how to describe you, who you are, what your background is, what you want to do, and how you can help. It all comes to how you can serve the potential employer that you want to work for. So have a business card, or at least like your contact information, your phone number and your email, and something that you can say that really sums up who you are and what you want, so that you can explain it to people. And then they remember that, say, oh, this person had this many years experience, and they speak these languages, and they're interested in this kind of job. That makes it memorable if it's short and sweet. Be willing to speak to different kinds of people. So as I mentioned in, parties versus just walking around your school and talking to people in different departments. I even got some business cards and gave out my business card when I was waiting in line for the bathroom at a restaurant once. So, I mean, just always, if you have extra time, I know it's easier for some people than others, but just, you have nothing to lose. If somebody wants to be, talking and you be a little friendly, it turns out that, you might not have that much in common, or so what, you had a little conversation and you made a new friend, and maybe they do have something like, oh yeah, well, email me your resume and I will forward it to the director, and we'll see, if you're a fit. Be sure your online profiles are detailed with your experience and what you're looking for, and feature a recent photo. So I know photos are a little bit difficult sometimes with people, but they're really important. So it's important to have a photo on your profile, especially like LinkedIn. So I'm gonna take you through how to effectively use LinkedIn in a minute. So this was something that I was in a job development center group and people were talking about age discrimination in the business world and then in the professional world. And this is something that is true. People might be more self-conscious about if they are older and they look older, and people might not want to hire them because they think maybe they don't have the skill set, or they're not going to be able to work at our business long enough to make it worth, investing in them. And so one guy said, I don't put my picture there because I don't want them to look at me, see that I have white hair and wrinkles and I'm older, and not want to hire me. And then another person there who had worked in hiring said, that's actually a really bad decision, because I worked in hiring and we wanted a senior person. We wanted somebody with a lot of experience. And we particularly didn't hire this one person that had a lot of experience because they didn't have a picture on their profile. So sometimes if you're right for the position, you will be right for the position. You don't have to hide anything. You don't have to be afraid. I know a lot of times people don't want to share a picture in certain cultures, and I understand that. But in LinkedIn, it really is helpful to have a picture of yourself. Yeah. And don't burn bridges. Burning bridges is a great term we have in English, which means to ruin a relationship. So even if you have a problem with a job that you had before, make sure that you don't let them know you had a problem with them. Always leave a job with a good relationship. Try to really maintain good relationships. I've seen that that's really important with Kyrgyz people, that you're all very polite and friendly, and I never saw anything like that was very, very terrible in that way. But it's still something to mention, that to keep in mind that if you want to in the future have a reference, or maybe that person has connections in a place that you would really like to work, and you go off and work somewhere else for 5 years, and then you want to go back and say, hey, I remember I worked with you, would you help me? You want to have be in good standing with them and have a good relationship with them, so that you can rely on that for a reference. Okay, so now I'm going to show you two really great online resources for networking. So the first one I'm going to show you, I mentioned, is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn it's like a social network, but it is it's for professional purposes. It's for jobs. So I'm signed in as myself right here, and then I see all of the people that I am connected with. So I have how many connections do I have? I think that's on my regular page. So I'm connected with this person, and so he's posting something. Look, a truly amazing senior level opportunity to guide the city's community and economic recovery from COVID-19. We need you to join our amazing team. So this is a job notification. So he's saying, I want people to apply to this job. So that's one of the possibilities of looking at this website and checking in a lot, seeing that people might actually post jobs and say, we're actively looking for people. Once you know they're actively looking for people, and also that they are your connection, that means that already there's some kind of a trust, or some kind of a relationship there, that they might be more likely to look at your resume and your application. So there are some ads also on here. But then there's sometimes people share things like inspirational things and stuff, information about how to look for jobs, people sharing their artwork, more ads. But people can if you update also, then it shows all your connections, that you are reminding them first off that you exist, and that of what you're doing, and keeps you in their mind. This is where I got my master's, San Francisco State University. So it's always great to see information about what's happening with them and people who have graduated from them as well. And this could be a form of networking. So say if he was, so this is biochemistry and molecular biology. I don't know anything about that. That's not part of what I have experience in. But if I did, if they did show somebody here from San Francisco State and they were highlighting their accomplishments, and it was something that was similar to what I wanted to do, I could message that person and say, hey, I'm also an alum. I graduated here. I saw this on here. I'm interested in doing this. Could you direct me towards somebody who can help me? Or would you be able to tell me how you got into this position? So looking at people who have graduated from the same universities as you is really great too. So yeah, like a lot of inspirational things. So let me look at my profile and what a profile looks like. These are free to make. So it's such a great resource because it's free. So you want to have like a professional photo of yourself. So I got a professional photo. Actually, the person was donating their time because it was part of that group I was in that I said was it was a volunteer group helping each other to find jobs. So if you have a nice professional photo, nice and clear, and put what your title is, and then your contact information. Okay, it says my profile is intermediate. It maybe should be advanced, but I can add more things to that. But and then it shows your experience. So I've been working with Peace Corps virtually, and then I was at Peace Corps before that, where I was. And you always want to make sure that you add the little logo of the place that you were at. Make sure it's a really good description. I need to add the description of what I'm doing here, but I had a really good description of here and here of what I was doing. And you only need to go back about 10 years because people aren't, they just want kind of a snapshot of what you were doing. And then there's for education. So there's where my education is. And then certifications, since I was trying to help you all with changing to online distance learning. I got the certificate in blended language learning, working online and then working in person. And there's my professional certifications in Spanish language, the CELTA, English language teaching. You can endorse other people and you can give endorsements. So 14 people have endorsed me for teaching, 6 for international education, 13 for foreign languages. Yeah, so there's all these different skills that you can put that you have, and then other people who you've worked with can give you points of endorsing that you are indeed good at those things. And then you can get recommendations from and you can give recommendations to other people. So some of the people that I worked with in Peace Corps asked for recommendations. So these show up on there. I gave some of the ones that I helped train some recommendations, and that shows up on their profiles. So you can always ask for a recommendation too. And then you can join interests. So yeah, there we go. Peace Corps, National Peace Corps Association, international jobs, all of that. And then up here, you can also look for jobs. You can find jobs on here. And what's great about this is that you can also contact the person who has the job opened. And you can say, I'm really interested in this. I feel like I'm a great candidate. I hope you look at my application. And a lot of people don't do that. And the ones that actually reach out, they might actually get their resume looked at So here's a bunch of based on your profile and search history. So there's a lot of education stuff, right? And there's Spanish because of my certificate there, and then English language training, assistant director, English language arts, curriculum and instructional, so a lot of and they make it very easy to apply to these jobs as well. So a lot of them have easy apply. You just upload your resume and then you send it in and hope for the best. But again, it really helps to send a note to the person that is in charge of reviewing the resumes and the applications. You can also message people. So here's a message from a former Peace Corps. He was in Jalalabad Oblast, and I said, well, congratulations on the new role. I won't show the entire thing, but just give an idea that you can message people just like on Facebook or WhatsApp or something. Then there's also notifications of what other people have shared. So these are a combination of friends and former colleagues that I've had, that what they're doing. Again, you can just go, oh, they shared this, and what are they doing right now? Yeah, this was the Peace Corps. I don't know if any of you knew him, Christian. I think he was in kind of a more remote part of Jalalabad, but maybe he went to Jalalabad city to do some trainings or something. I'm not sure, but he's a very nice person, and he helped train me as well in pre-service training. And yeah, so you can look at these and then find, oh, they're looking for somebody with this, or they just made a connection with this other person that I want to connect with. So this is a really great resource for networking. And again, it's free, and it just, if anybody wants, help setting up their own, please contact me. I'm happy to do it. It's very easy for me. So I'm not, oh, there's Rund. I worked with her in Saudi Arabia. I keep all these contacts from all the different places that I've worked. So another great one is, let's look at the Tesol International Association. So you can become a member of this. So teaching English to speakers of other languages. That's what Tesol stands for. So that's what I am. That's what all of you are. And there's different benefits of doing this, and there's different ways to join. So let's look at the benefits. Of course, this is a great way to network and to get more information. So we have virtual seminars, which is free to members. So there's 60 to 90-minute online seminars, which cover a range of topics and available for playback at your convenience. So if you pay the yearly fee, then you can go to all of these seminars and you get all that professional development. Symposiums, regional conferences. So this is discounted. So it means that, when you would pay full price if you weren't a member, but now you have a little bit of a discount. Online courses, discounted rates for members. So these are courses where you can instructor facilitated 4 to 6 weeks, which means that you have a teacher that is working with a certain timeline, or self-study courses where you can go at your own pace. So maybe you can take a year and a half to get a new certification. Certificate programs, discounted rates for members, and the annual international convention. And so that brings together 6,000 professionals and students from around the globe. And this is for students as well as professionals and teachers and retired. So let's look at the membership options. So any one of us can join. So you have the professional, which is, you can pay 1 year or 2 years, lower income. So people who are professional, but they make less. New professional, they're for less than 3 years. Global, this is countries with a gross national income of less than 15,000. So if, I'm not sure what Kyrgyzstan is, but you might be able to get it for as little as $35 for 1 year, which it might be a good thing to do. A student is also at less, and then if you're retired, you still want to stay in the field, but you are not working for money anymore, then you can get a discount as well. So I'm sure there might be some kind of help that a school can give you to become part of this association, because they know that I'm not sure how schools work, and maybe private schools are a little bit different than public ones, but I know that there's a certain amount, when I was working with both private and public, there's a certain amount of money that they can give you for continuing education, because they want to invest in their teachers and they want to keep you year to year. And then, yeah, there's other, like, you can get the update of, the publishing. The quarterly is like a journal, like a magazine. And yeah, so professional development for members, Tesol Resource Center, connection to a bunch of other people who are working in the field and who might have information about places that you want to work, or more resources that you can use in your own job. So this is a really great resource as well. So right now, I've shared some of those things. I went over it a little bit quickly. Now let's go to questions and clarifications. Okay.
Thank you very much, Pamela. It was very
practical and useful. Everybody saying hello and good morning, and that's always nice to see. Before I get to the question,
we have a question from Rahat.
Yeah, I see. So, how to maintain a relationship after the first meeting without being obtrusive? Yeah. So, I know it's that's a difficult question, even for me as a native speaker. It's like sometimes, well, what's the best? How do I word this best where I don't feel like I'm, being being strange or something? The best thing, I think, is to maybe like a couple days after say, it was really nice meeting you. Just a reminder, I've attached my resume. I hope we can work together in the future. Please let me know if this position is still open, whatever it is that you were talking about. But just start out with saying, like, it was nice to meet you and I enjoyed our conversation. And then just kind of remind them what you were looking for, or like thank them. Say, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me. Any of those things. Yeah. Do's and don'ts for online and offline networking. Well, do's, I mean, just use your judgment as far as what you would just have like a normal conversation. And make sure that you do tell them exactly what you're interested in. Another thing, so definitely for in person as well, a lot of a mistake that people make is they talk to somebody and they realize that they're in a different field. Even if they're at a networking event, they're in a different field and they say, oh, well, this person can't help me, so I'm not going to talk to them. So this happened to me before once. I went to a networking event that was specifically for job networking. And somebody came up to me and said, oh, hi, I'm, so-and-so. I said, hi. He's like, oh, what are you looking for? What are you doing? And I said, oh, well, I'm actually in education and I'm looking to do this kind of thing. I'm looking to get more into teacher training or training and development or something. He said, oh, well, I'm in real estate and I don't think that there's anything that you can help me with. So I'm going to move on to someone else. And I said, oh, okay. But part of what I also learned and was taught was that some of your best connections will be with the people that you have the least in common with. So why is this true? This is true because you are not competing for the same positions. So if this other person had come up to me and I would have said the exact same thing about real estate, maybe I would be the worst person to talk to because we're both competing for the same position. So what would be the point of trying to network with that person, right? You wouldn't want to give them too much information about how to get this position because you want the position for yourself. But maybe had he talked to me for longer, I actually know somebody who works in real estate in San Francisco and makes a lot of money and is very successful and has a lot of experience. Maybe had he talked to me and said, I would have said, oh, you know what? I can't get a job from this guy because I work in a different field, but you could because you work in this field. So therefore, why don't I give you his, why don't I introduce you on LinkedIn and he can get your contact information and you guys can go from there and see what he can help you with. Or maybe once we started talking, he actually knew somebody that was looking for an academic administrator. Obviously, he wasn't going to get the job because that wasn't his field, but he could connect me with somebody who could. So one of the do's is keep open to everybody, talk to everybody, and remember that your strongest connection will have the least in common with you because you're not competing. And the don't is don't ignore anyone, right? Like, don't burn bridges. That was part of the thing that I said there. Don't burn bridges. So this, English term is really great. It's like you walk across a bridge and then you burn it and you can't get back to the other side of the mountain that you were coming from. So he burned a bridge with me. Now he doesn't have any of my contacts and I don't have any of his. You're welcome, Rahat. I'm glad to answer that. Any other questions?
I think we haven't got any more questions. One question.
Yeah.
I think it's my question is close to Rahat's second question. We have got like many internet like online fraud.
Yeah.
So what do you suggest? So
yeah, this is a hard one. Yeah, because people will come to you with what seems like a legitimate job, and so don't share any information but your name, your email, phone number. If until you have actually gotten a job offer, a contract, and maybe they want to give you direct deposit, they want to put your paycheck into your bank, then you can give them bank information once it is a legitimate school or it's a legitimate whatever the company is or organization. But just be careful about what you're sharing. That's all. Because there is a lot of fraud out there and you want to be careful. Once people start asking strange questions that don't seem like they have to do anything with like if some people start asking for money or they're talking about romantic relationships or something, there's a lot of scams out there. So make sure also you can look up the company that they're saying they're from. So for example, if I look at LinkedIn and I see some of these, what is this? Canadian, okay. So this person is a university professor, founder, director at Canadian Dream Academy. So before I even talk with this person, if they try to text me, I look at Canadian Dream Academy. Is it a legitimate school? Canadian Dream Center, Canadian Dream Academy, Canadian Dreams Academy. Okay, website. So let's look at this. IELTS, French, IELTS coaching. Okay, so this is legitimate. This is okay because you can't say you are IELTS if you are not IELTS. So now you know this is not a scam. You can talk to this person. If they are interested in you, then it is real. Yeah. So do some research, and also be aware of if people start talking about strange things. That will help you with identifying fraud for sure.
Yeah, sometimes like we put our detailed information about like personal information on
Yeah.
profiles.
Yeah,
So
your full name, your email, and your phone number is fine, because they're not going to be able to get much out of it, and you want them to be able to contact you. So I've gotten emails from things I wasn't interested in. I delete the email. There's not anything that they can do to me just from my email, right? And I have a specific email for everything professional, and then I have an email for my social life. So I don't have to worry about, having those too many professional things or too many social things in one. I open this email account, and it's all for my professional life, and then I open this one, it's all for my social life. So that's okay as well.
okay, Pamela, thank you very much. It was very interesting and useful about networking.
Yeah, getting to know
So,
people.
dear participants, thank you very much for your participation and the questions. I hope we'll meet next week. So, we'll discuss what topic are we going to talk next week, Pamela, on WhatsApp.
Cool.
So, thank you very much, Pamela. Have a good night. Жақсы тұрыңыздар. Bye.
Жақсы қалыңыздар, достарым. Thank you,
Жақсы
everybody.
тұрыңыздар. Bye.